Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending the FedEx Freight Virtual Job Fair event. I would like to introduce you to Charlene and Moises. Charlene and Moises will tell you about their company, job openings, and how to apply for those openings. Charlene and Moises.
Perfect.
Good afternoon,
Good
everyone.
morning, Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, actually, sorry. My name is Charlene Gordon, as Daniel mentioned, and I'm a talent acquisition specialist with FedEx Freight. We are over 400,000 team members worldwide. We make about 12 million shipments daily to over 220 countries and territories, and have about 1,800 FedEx offices we have nationwide. Now, I know that a lot of you are familiar with the FedEx name and brand, but some others are not so familiar with the fact that we actually have 9 different subsidiaries under the actual FedEx umbrella. So a lot of you are familiar with our office and ground locations as well as our business services, but not so much freight. And on the freight side, we deal with palletized shipments. So that's what makes us a little different from our ground and express partners, whereas they do the smaller packages that they ship to local residential homes. And we do more of on the business to business side. We do have our FedEx Direct right now, where we do some white glove services also to residences, maybe to send like a piano, or maybe there's a large pool that's being delivered or something like that. But yeah, so we're just a bit different from our ground and express side in terms of some of the positions even that we hire for, and the roles that we have in terms of them being seasonal or full-time. So our positions are all full-time permanent hires as well as part-time permanent hires, and we offer benefits for all of the positions that we offer at FedEx. So I'm located in the northern part of the Chicago area, so closer to the Wisconsin borders where I hire for. And my colleague Moises, he does most of the Chicagoland area. So we'll speak to positions that we have available in both locations. The ones that I have covering today will be in our Rockford, Illinois area, is where the majority of our positions are right now. That might be closer to some of you that have registered to attend today. As well as our Peru locations. I have put up on the virtual job booth, there should be some flyers that will actually also provide you with some additional information on the roles that we have available. And that'll be lower down, I guess, on the virtual job fair booth site. And I see Daniel's scrolling there for us. So under documents, you'll see that there's the part-time service center support, and that's our customer service role. We also have a flyer for our multi-positions, and that just gives you a brief overview of all the positions that FedEx can and does hire for. They may not currently all be up on the website at the moment, meaning that we may not have some of those positions that we're that we're hiring for right now, but these are the roles that we would and do hire for. There's also a flyer for the application process, and that would walk you through what the process is for applying with FedEx Freight and how you do that. And then at the bottom, there's also a flyer for the part-time freight handler. Now, we also hire for drivers, and we'll be speaking to those roles today as well. That flyer's not up, but it will be loaded up a little later if you want to return. But I'm also going to take you to our website, because that's also where you can go to view the job description for our driver roles. And what is expected for those positions as well. And if we can go over to the FedEx career site. So I'm kind of going to just take you real quick through the process of applying, not through the entire process, just because it's like a 12 process step once you register, and we won't be registering officially here on the site, but just to show you where to go, you would go to our careers website, and you plug it into a Google browser and just look up FedEx Careers website, and it should bring you up to this page as well. What you would do is search your location, search by location, so whatever location's closest to you. So Daniel, in location, if you can kindly put in Rockford, Illinois, because that's the one of the locations we're going to speak to today. And then you click on Find Jobs. And then it'll pull up all the positions that we currently are hiring for in our Rockford, Illinois location. What you'll see on this page too is that they've, because I've done it so wide, which is Rockford, Illinois, it's showing some of our other locations as well. So our express, our ground positions. But if we scroll back up to the top, we'll be looking at the part-time freight handler and the road driver roles that we're looking for in Rockford, Illinois. So for our part-time freight handler positions, those are sit-down forklift driver roles. A lot of people tend to shy away from the position once they read the job description, just because they figure, you know, I don't have forklift experience, so I can't qualify for this position. Well, we actually train for this position on site, so there are no major requirements in order to apply. We only ask that you do have some warehouse experience in your background, really, and you a high school diploma or GED, but it's not required. If you go into that role for me, Daniel, there's just a quick video that kind of gives you an idea of what the forklift role entails, and we don't have to play the whole thing, but we can just stream a little bit of that video there if you would like to click the play button for me.
At FedEx Freight, our freight handlers are the heart and soul of the operation. Their hard work is the foundation for our growth and a critical part of delivering an outstanding experience to our customers. We use the latest technology to safely and efficiently move millions of pounds of freight through our network each day. FedEx Freight facilities vary by size and location and can have multiple shifts operating daily. Freight handlers load, unload, and sort freight by continuously lifting, pushing, carrying, and placing shipments in a safe and efficient manner. While a typical shift is approximately 2 to 4 hours, freight handlers are not guaranteed to work a certain number of hours. Lengths of shifts may vary based on freight volume and operational needs.
It's a really good job to move up in. The company is extremely easy to move up in if you're willing to put in the work.
In order to meet the needs of our customers, the freight handler job is fast-paced and physical, involving handling freight of approximately 100 pounds. The work environment is often loud and may be hot or cold, depending on the local climate and the time of year.
Well, working in Memphis, it gets very hot on our docks. It's very humid on our docks. And you go in and out of these trailers, they're hotter in the trailers than it is on the dock. You just have to learn how to stay hydrated and keep wet towels around your neck, whatever you can do to help keep some moisture in yourself.
Day in and day out, our freight handlers ensure that FedEx Freight continues to deliver freight to its customers on time and with care.
So I started out as a part-time.
So I just kind of wanted to give you just a brief kind of overview and just let you see what the forklifts look like and some of the centers as well. I won't, on your own time, you can come back and also look at the rest of the video until the end. Now I know they spoke to some of the conditions within the warehouses, and just to let you know, some of our centers do have air conditioning and heating, but not all of them do. But we do, provide for you to wear the, any types of winter gear that you might need in order to be comfortable when you're out on the docks as well. And we do have fans and things in the summer as well to accommodate for that. If we go to the back button, it takes us back out. And for our driver roles, some of the differences between our driver roles and our FedEx and ground and express roles is that our positions do require you to have Class A CDL license in order to drive our trucks. So if you do not have your Class A CDL, then usually these road driver positions, as well as the city roles, may not be what you're looking for. But if you're currently going through a technical school and you're working towards obtaining the your CDL license as well, then we sometimes also advertise for our apprenticeship driver roles, which allows you to go through the process of obtaining the license while working for FedEx. And then once you've obtained the license, you can move into a driver or city driver role as well. So this is the information for our Rockford, Illinois location and some of the positions that we're currently hiring for. Again, that's the freight handler and road driver. We have about, I think, 5 roles available here, but if you look across, like I cover 16 different locations. I'm just honing in on the Rockford location because I was assuming that, you know, some of you that may have registered might be closer to this area, but my colleague Moises is also on the call, and he'll speak to you about positions that he has over within the Chicagoland area that might also be of interest to you. So Moises, I'll pass it on to you.
I apologize, I was on mute. As Charlene was pointing out, the positions that we currently are offering, part-time freight handler, driver, road driver, city driver. We also have diesel technician opportunities in some of our locations. I know I'm hiring at 2 locations, Forest View, which is near Midway, and Joliet. We have diesel opportunities. All we're looking for there is at least a year of hands-on experience, automotive diesel, or at least a year of formal diesel automotive training. Something to keep in mind if you were to start with a position such as a freight handler part-time, you know, stick around if it's something you feel like you want to keep doing, you know, on a more full-time basis. Stick with it, because I could tell you the majority of our leadership started in those roles. And I mean, that would put you definitely in a different income bracket where you could make it a career and a living out of running the operations shift. And I'll keep something else to keep in mind. We are pretty much around the clock service facility. Most of our centers are run from Monday through Saturday, or it could be a Monday through Friday, Tuesday through Saturday, but there's 3 shifts typically that we are running, and that would be of course full-time. But something to keep in mind is that your shift may be morning, afternoon, or 3rd shift overnight. But something else Charlene had mentioned, and that I currently have open, is that driver apprentice position. You do not, the only thing I believe is required is at least to have that CDL permit. You can be at least 21 years of age. Your motor vehicle will be checked out, but that gives an opportunity to someone that does not have any formal CDL skills or driving. As long as they have that CDL permit, it'll give you the ability to actually come work with us as you're learning and developing those skills to be a city and or road driver. And I believe I only have that available as of the last couple of days at our Des Plaines location, which is about like a little bit northwest of the city of Chicago. Other than that, that's all I currently have. Is everything. I have part-time freight handlers, road drivers, city drivers, diesel technicians, and driver apprentice openings. And those are basically around the city of Chicago, which would include Forest View, Aurora, as far southwest as Joliet, Elmhurst, and Des Plaines, and a couple opportunities in Schaumburg. And if anyone listening actually has supervisory roles and operations of like supply chain or logistics, I have a couple openings too at my current center in Forest View here near Midway Airport. That's all I really have.
Perfect. Thank you, Moises.
Thank you.
So if there's anyone on the call that might have any questions for us, or are looking for specific positions or positions out of a specific location, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask them.
Thank you so much, Charlene and Moises. If anyone has any questions for the FedEx team, if you want to go ahead and enter those into the chat, we will get those answered for you as quickly as possible. In the meantime, while we're waiting for some of those questions to come in, Charlene and Moises, I'm just going to ask you all just some standard questions that tend to come up frequently on a lot of these virtual hiring events. Question number 1, especially since we're talking more of a warehouse role, can you kind of elaborate on what the COVID-19 precautions are that you all have implemented in your warehouses?
Want to go, Charlene, or should I go?
Sure, I'll share some, and then maybe you might have some additional to do for your locations. But
Perfect.
I know that we are providing the hand sanitizer, mask. There's a few things. There's hand sanitizer, mask, And there was one other thing I just can't recall that we provide for the drivers. I know that the trucks are cleaned down after use every day. They are sanitized and sprayed and cleaned down as well. Trying to think what else. The drivers, as I'm aware of right now, they used to come out, and get their boards, their shipments signed and meet with someone at the docks. That's not happening right now. So we remain in the trucks. We're not coming out and having that face-to-face interaction right now. And that's all I can think of at the top of my head. I don't know if you have something that you can add to that.
Yes, I mean, everyone's, you could say, keeping eyes on that. Also, that we maintain our distance. And I know in some of the break rooms, I'm not going to say for all centers, but I know in some of the centers, they have like partitions on some of the bigger tables, like plexiglass. I know in my location here, we have like banquet size tables in our break rooms. And then we do have partitions. So if you're sitting in front of each other, there's a partition that plexiglass. So you're not basically, so you can see that separation. And then of course, we're always reiterating keep it at least 6 feet apart. And some locations we have markings on the floor. This is how much you want to be apart. And that's basically throughout the center. But yeah, we're basically doing what everyone's doing, maintaining our distance, keeping a mask on, practicing safety measures pretty much across the board.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlene and Moises. Looks like we did have an individual who kind of joined the session a little bit later. So another question that I typically ask is, for applicants, do they need to possess any sort of educational requirements like a GED or high school diploma? I know you guys covered it during your presentations, but perhaps you could elaborate again once more.
So for part-time freight handler roles, they do ask for a high school diploma or GED, but it's not required. So it is a nice to have, but it is not required in order to apply for the position. As well, you do not have to have a forklift certification to apply for this role, as it is a sit-down forklift role. We do train for that in-house. Now, our driver roles do require you to have your CDLA license. So for that is a requirement. So that's whether you've received that through going to to the local schools in order to obtain your license, or you've driven with a company previously and have obtained your Class A, as well as completed your over-the-road hours. I believe that's of a year or more for your driving hours. And Moises, do you have anything maybe to add?
No, yeah, so pretty much for the part-time freight handler, yeah, that's the one that's the minimum, but everything else you would need your high school diploma or GED, and you are correct, Charlene, at least a year of driving experience for the CDL Class A drivers. And for the diesel techs, yeah, at least formal training or at least a year of actual auto diesel experience in that. So you could say that the freight handler part-time, that would be the most entry-level position we have.
Fantastic. Thank you both. Another question that I have for you, for the folks who are on the call or listening, after our session wraps up here today, is how can an applicant stand out and get an interview, assuming they're qualified for the position they are applying for? Is there anything that you would suggest they include in a resume? Anything that they should highlight as far as experience, so on and so forth?
I'll give that one over to you, Moises.
Yeah, I mean, well, we go in order of application. So I mean, that's what we follow, just to be in all fairness. So if someone applies, that we definitely ask for 10 years of actual employment history, as well as residential history. But I'll just say is just apply, state everything as far as your experience is concerned, and we do call individuals in order of application. Now, it may change a bit, and you could say we're very consistent in that end, our train handlers, drivers, but it may change a bit with the diesel technicians because they are actually looking at some experience. And you can say for the drivers as well, but we do call in order of application. Just, be frank, state everything, because I mean, the interviews are based on actual experience, especially when we start getting into the drivers. And something to keep in mind of the drivers, we will also do a road test. You make it past the interview, there will be a follow-up road test as well. So we want to make sure that you are definitely qualified for the job itself. And that same thing follows with a diesel technician. You are asked questions, and you will be able, you will have to demonstrate what you know or what you're saying. And that could be a quick, just, hey, tell me what's this, and this, or what happens from this, and this. But yeah, just state your experience, and we reach out to the individuals in order of application.
Also, if
Fantastic.
you are a referral and you know someone that has referred you to the company, I'm not sure if it provides the opportunity for you to do so, but I think it does. You'll want to include that individual's name because they could also provide the information to their management and submit a referral form. And that too will have your application actually reviewed by our HR admin team for being presented to the hiring manager for further review as well. So if you do have a referral, you'll want to make sure you include their name on your application as well, if it calls for it.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you to both Moises and Charlene for those responses. Another question that I have for you is, are there any particular shifts that you all are emphasizing hiring for at the moment?
I'm doing around the clock. So yeah, I say, yeah, because I know right now I'm looking for Forest View here in Midway. We have a lot of openings, and we're doing some starting at midnight and others starting at 7 a.m.
Mine are first and second shifts. Any freight handlers that I have so far are also the same, like either starting at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning or 4 p.m. in the afternoons, but mostly first and second for myself on our shifts. A lot of them will state, like the freight handler roles, they will sometimes state the shift hours when you're applying to the positions. The driver roles might state that they're varying shifts. So that's something that you can discuss when you get into the interview with the hiring manager in regards to what shifts are currently available for you to be considered for.
Fantastic. Thank you both. And how long does your hiring process typically take, from the point of submitting an application to actually being hired?
That can vary. We're trying to be as quick about it as possible, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to align, let's say, a manager, because it's busy at the time right now. So just to get them to interview, it's a little bit tough, but I know we're trying to get as many people to help out as possible. So I want to see, since they apply, the goal is to do it within about 2 to 3 weeks, but it's not always the case. Sometimes also some of the holdup would be processing, you could say, delays. And that would be in the sense that if someone has moved a lot, it may take some time to get the responses for the background check in a timely manner, because especially now too, because of the COVID, not everyone are in the county offices or state offices. So there's been some delay, some lag a bit, but typically we want to get someone hired within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, especially for a freight handler. If it's a driver, it's typically about a month. Technician, it could be about a month as well on average, but for freight handler, yeah, the goal is about 2 to 3 weeks.
Fantastic. Thank you, Moises.
And I know,
Another
Daniel,
question.
sorry, you had also asked, sorry, this was a social distance question, and this might tie in with the interviewing. We do also do the social distancing when we bring you on site for the interview. So it could be in, a meeting room where you're across the table from the hiring manager, like each at one end and spaced out. So we are also practicing social distancing when we're bringing you on site and into the meeting rooms. And most likely you'll be wearing a mask on site as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Charlene. That was actually going to be the next question that I was going to ask you. So thank you for that. Another question that I do have for you is, are new hires paid for the time that they're being trained?
Yes, they are. As soon as they start making what their hourly rate. So let's say for a freight handler, Charlene, what is it in your area or for Rockford area?
It varies. It starts at about 1661 though.
Okay. So yeah, they are definitely compensated during that training time. And I think training runs about 2 to 3 weeks for about, formal training, including safety and all that stuff. So they are compensated at their hourly rate.
Fantastic.
And then sorry, yeah. So for Rockford, it is 1661. It just varies sometimes by location. So you'll want to keep an eye on that as well, because
yes,
for the freight handlers, the rate of pay, the hourly rates of pay will be stated, not so much for the drivers. and our management positions. But those driver positions can start anywhere from about $21 to $22 an hour as well, and will vary from location by location as well.
Fantastic. Thank you both. And a final question that I have for both of you is, what are the opportunities for advancement within your organization? And then perhaps maybe you could cite specific success stories that maybe you've had, and perhaps maybe that could even be your own success stories.
I'll give that over to Moises because he did touch on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and right here at this location, we've been given all this e-commerce, all this boom that we've had this year of delivery, everything happening pretty much online. We've had a lot of opportunities for promotion, supervisor operations. So just to give you an idea, and this is based on actual events. Okay, we've been hiring supervisor operations supervisors at this location. I think we're on our fourth one in just a matter of months. We've also hired 2 operations managers, which is a level higher, but they started at roughly operations supervisors about 68K. So it's definitely, you can be working here 1 year, year and a half, part-time freight handler, give it all you got, put in all the effort, and you can move up pretty quickly. And I have seen people move up, or that I've screened and did partial interviews, move up the ladder pretty quickly. And I can tell you, I've been with the company corporation for 16 and a half years. I started with FedEx Express as a package handler and also a courier driver. It was meant to be just to supplement my income. This was back in 2004. And actually it evolved where I ended up going into communications. Then the recession kicked in. Then I went to took an opportunity for tractor trailer driver. So the company actually, I got my CDL through the company, and I was actually driving. Interestingly, I was driving from O'Hare to Rockford. That was my run every day, O'Hare to Rockford and back every night. So then from there, I became a recruiter, and then did that for several years at Express. Then an opportunity for talent acquisitions opened up at FedEx Freight. I made the transition over last year. So I've been with Freight almost 2 years. So over almost a little 16 and a half years, but there is definite opportunity for mobility to move around within the company. And something to keep in mind, if you guys are able to move around, let's say you have that opportunity as well, as long as you have no letters against you, and you do your time, and you have positive reviews, you can definitely move around in the company anywhere in the nation, wherever there's opening, and if seniority permits. So you guys, pretty much the sky is the limit.
That is awesome. Thank you for that, Moises. And I think that does, kind of shine a light on the
Yeah,
opportunities
definitely.
that exist within the organization. So
Yes.
at this time, as we kind of wrap the session up here today, I want to give you all kind of an opportunity perhaps to either include any information that maybe you feel you might have, neglected to cover, or if there's something that you'd like to emphasize for those that would be listening in, now would be the ideal time to go ahead and do so, either Charlene or Moises or the both of you.
Well, I'm just putting our email addresses in the chat just for anyone that might have been late to arrive. And if you have any additional questions or wanted to ask any other questions to either myself or Moises member, I am located up in closer to the Wisconsin-Illinois border, but I do cover 16 different locations. So most of our locations up in Wisconsin, as well as a few southern locations, being Effingham and Lincoln. And then I do Peru, Rockford, which we spoke about today. And Moises does most of the Chicagoland area as well.
Yes. Yes. But definitely any questions you have, I mean, it could be small or big, it doesn't matter. Just, feel free to ask. I'll definitely answer.
And just let us know that you participated today at the virtual job fair here with Illinois WorkNet, just so that we have a point of reference of where we spoke to you or connected with you.
Fantastic. Well, I would like to thank both Charlene and Moises for the presentation today. Very thorough, covered a lot of information, and I know it will be definitely helpful and beneficial to the job seekers that are tuning in. I do also want to thank all those who participated today. I do want to note that this session has been recorded and it will be uploaded to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel later today. So If you'd like to reference any sort of the information that was covered here today, perhaps there's something you'd just like clarity on, you can always refer to that video at a later date to get your answers there. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for participating. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful holiday. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. Have a good one, guys.